welcome. This is a new thing for me, so we're going to see how it goes. Don't worry if it ends up too weird or not good. It won't see the light of day on the internet. So this podcast in particular is really talking about the beautiful mess. And this episode in particular, I wanted to talk to you about what does that really mean? Beautiful mess. And this episode, which is called The Mess is Not a Mistake, Finding Beauty in the Chaos. You're going to notice that I've got my mirror in front of me and I'm doing makeup as well. And this is the first time that I've done this. So again, please forgive me if something ends up ridiculously goofy here. So there's a reason I'm doing this. I've got my makeup, I've got my brushes, I got my mirror. You can see that I got the lights and everything like that. And I am not a beauty blogger or anything else like this. And that's not my purpose in doing this. My purpose in doing this is to really walk my talk. So what I really want to say to you is welcome. You're getting the realest version of me. And that's what this podcast is really going to be about. So whether or not you actually see me on your screen or you're just listening to me, this is really about no filters, no polished intro voice, just me. And it's me doing my makeup in this particular case, because honestly, it's the only way I know how to have a real conversation. Yes, I could put together a PowerPoint and I could talk you through the points, right? But then that doesn't really feel like me living out loud what I'm telling you, which is that life is messy. For all of us, life is messy. Even those people that appear to have everything together, right? That's only a part of them that we're seeing. And I really want to demonstrate this to you. And I really do hope that you understand how difficult this is for me. Like, I gave myself so much anxiety even setting this up and having all of the things right and the microphone and all and I was perfecting to ad nauseum. So I hope that this works out well for you. And really what it is if you've ever felt like you need to perform just to be understood or mask to make others comfortable, you're not alone. And I'm not just doing the lip service for you. I am literally here, not only in this episode, but in all of this podcast, talking about the naked truth, those ugly things, those chaotic things, those bumpy things, the things that, oh my God, we wish we could delete or that we could cover over or fix. And my focus is to actually talk about those things and to really start finding the beauty in that chaos. If you're anything like me, I have tried quite a little bit in my life to just get things figured out, like getting things together, right? Like getting the just the right program, just the right system, all of these kinds of things, being more organized, being calmer, being more normal, I guess, then I'd be okay. And I'd feel okay. So for me, makeup really kind of became a part of that. It was kind of like this literal translation of putting on a mask to be presentable or normal to other people. And it was a way to feel put together, even if and when everything inside felt scrambled and chaotic and ugly and hideous. And it was a way that I felt like, to use my mom's words, that I got my power back. You know, it was like me dyeing my hair or something like that. It was get your power back, right? And then here's an interesting thing about it, though. The makeup in and of itself became a mask. You know, it's the whole concept of I'm screaming on the inside, but I look not only decent and okay on the outside, people think I'm actually thriving. I'm actually doing really well. And for those of us that are perfectionists, that's a pretty common thing, is that other people frequently have no idea that we're struggling, because we look like we check all the boxes when people look at us of like, oh, they look like they're succeeding. They look like, you know, they're holding everything together. They have all of these things together. They have these systems. They're so successful in these different aspects. And really inside, like, my brain was screaming, and I was constantly thinking about how I was burning out and how things just were not working. And I desperately wanted someone to come help. And there's something, not only do I really like putting on makeup now for the reasons I was just talking about, but there's just also something really poetic about, now that I truly understand what masking is, there's something really poetic about talking to you about this while putting on makeup. So, so you might hear me dropping things. You're probably going to hear me picking things up and doing different things. And you know what? That's okay. Like, I drop stuff too. I am, let's see, what would be a good way to put that? I'm clumsy, even though I try really hard not to be. I am, right? It's about the mess. It's about the chaos. It's about the realness and showing you, not just telling you, but showing you what that really looks like. And here's what I want you to focus on. Even though I'm letting you in on my secrets, I'm letting you in on my chaos, on my mess. That's my life. Just like it's your life. It's not anywhere near Instagram perfect. It's not color coded. It's not as organized as I would like it to be, but it's mine. And it wasn't finding a system that I needed. It was about learning how to love that beauty and that chaos and where I'm at. Doesn't mean I think I'm perfect, because holy bananas, even though I am a perfectionist, no, I don't remotely think I'm perfect. And I have just a lot of way to go. And the messy, chaotic, inconsistent parts I love, because they're mine. Okay, so here's what I want you to know today. You don't have to clean up your life to be worthy. And I will talk to you a little bit about worthiness, because in all honesty, I don't think there's anything any of us can do to be, quote, worthy. I think we're all just doing the best that we can. And we make choices based on that. And you don't have to earn your softness by being productive. You don't have to be some perfect CEO, some perfect mom, whether you're stay at home or you're working 40 or 80 hours a week or anything like that. You are allowed to be tired. Like, that's a reality. And to be undone and to be in process. Right? Okay. So, if you've ever had a perfection spiral, where you procrastinate because whatever it is you're focusing on doing, like this podcast, for example, it won't be good enough anyway. And so you're constantly thinking, you're planning it out, you're getting all the details, but then you don't actually get started on it. And really what it is that you feel like you could never live up to what it is you have in your head about how you want it to look like, right? It was a wonderful friend who actually told me, gave me the insight that I was a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist. And Lisa Preslin is one of my favorite people on the planet. Love you, girl. And we were in the office, and she was talking about perfectionism and things like that. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm a perfectionist. And it was so funny because she ultimately said to me, do you realize you are currently arguing with me that you are not a perfectionist because you do not agree with the definition of perfectionism? And I went, oh, I see what you did there. See, if you're like me, your concept of perfectionism is not about things can be perfect. You don't think they can be perfect. I don't think there actually is such a thing as perfection. However, I have these concepts, these ideas of how I want things to turn out, and if I don't feel like I'm being able to get that outcome or do it in the way that I want to do it, I get paralyzed by not matching that standard that I feel like I should be matching. That is perfectionism. Not the concept that I think perfect is even possible, but this idea I have in my head, this picture I have in my head, and if I don't feel like I'm able to match that, that's where that perfectionism comes in. So Lisa Preslin, you changed my life when you helped me realize that. I'm not the only person whose life you've changed, but you definitely did with mine. And here's the thing. A lot of us learn that the only way to be safe is to be excellent, perfect, never make any mistakes, overachieve, fix ourselves before anyone else can notice something's off. And we try to make sure that people don't throw us away or things like that because we bring so much value to the table. And trust me, the reason I'm saying this is because I have this I will tell you so much about me trying to prove my value to people in situations and organizations because of what I can bring to the table. And the truth is that there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm different. You're different. And that's not wrong. Not everybody is like us, and that's okay. And we really need to understand what that means. Not just a platitude that someone puts on a pillow and we go, oh, okay, and now we're all better, right? No. So what does that actually mean? That we're different and that that's okay. Okay. Somewhere along the line, I started asking myself and the world what if the chaos was not a problem to solve? You know, all that chaos and getting rid of that chaos, right? What if that wasn't a problem to solve, but what if that was a story unfolding? What? We're about to talk about what we in the biz call a reframe, okay? So, what if that mess, that chaos, is where the art is where the beauty is? Even when I drop the powder on the floor, drop my brush, accidentally whack myself in the eye with something, even when I forget what I was saying mid-sentence, that happens a lot. Even when I feel too much, too loud, or too scattered, there's beauty in that. There's truth in that. So, in my mind, there's some of the most beautiful things in the world in that what some could call an error. And I think that's something worth celebrating, that I can see the beauty in something like that. That is worth celebrating. So, if you're listening now, or you're watching, I want you to just pause. Look at yourself. Whether that's in the mirror, maybe you're looking at yourself in your mind, maybe you're looking at your life choices. Wherever it is, I want you to look at yourself. And I want you to say something really simple. Okay? Even if you don't believe this just yet, I want you to practice this. And we'll talk about how to actually make these kinds of things work better in another episode. But I want you to say this. This is me. This is me right now. In progress. And it's okay. I'm not done yet. You don't need to change to be lovable. You don't need to hide to be safe. You don't need to put on a thick skin or be the toughest person ever to keep people from hurting you. You're not the mess. But you know what? That mess is definitely part of your magic. One of the things that I want to make sure everybody hears and understands is that no matter what else choices and options we have, decisions and all these other kinds of things, I am definitely going to talk to you about, let's be real, definitely going to talk to you about, let's be realistic. And of all the choices we have in life, I choose magic. I choose magic every time. And I choose magic in this chaos and in this mess. Makeup's on, right? Maybe it's a little crooked. Maybe it's perfect. Doesn't really matter. What matters is I showed up. And so did you. So, thank you. And next time, maybe you'll come just as you are. And I'll come just as I am. Just being human in our maybe non-makeuped. And there won't be any pressure. And it won't be about fixing. And it'll really just be about the beautiful, chaotic truth of being human, of being who we are. And if anything in this resonated, I really want you to reach out to me, send me a message, share your own little messy truth. Love to hear it. Until then, dear friends, be gentle with your gorgeous, chaotic self. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're becoming. And something I want you to get really used to hearing and saying is, stop apologizing. Be bold. Be beautiful and weird. Be you. Thanks for joining. See you next time.